Can compound interest really make you rich? Yes. Hey, I'm Luke Downey, and this is another edition of Lessons with Luke. I've been investing for about 20 years, learned some good things, learned some bad things. I want to take those experiences and make you a better investor. So if you like this information, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So I got to go all the way back to when I was 5 years old. My grandfather sat me on his lap. This is in the 80s, folks. And we were watching wrestling. That's what you did in the 80s. And he said, Luke, do you want to retire? And if you're younger, you might not really use the term retire, but definitely in the 80s and the 90s, people actually had pensions and people actually focused on retiring. So anyway, at 5 years old, I looked up my grandfather, said, yes. And he said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take $200. You are going to invest it in the stock market every single month. He said, eventually, you're going to be able to retire. I remember that. I don't know why, but let's fast forward till whenever I graduated high school. And there was a financial advisor from Edward Jones. He came out. We were in the cafeteria of all places. And he looks at us all and he says, who wants to be a millionaire? You saw the hands go up all over the place. Everybody wanted to be a millionaire. And he said, here is what you're going to do. You're going to take $200. You are going to invest it in the stock market. And you're going to do this every single month. And he said, it's going to compound. And by the time you guys are 60 years old, ready to retire, you are going to have $1 million. And we couldn't even fathom $200, but he basically said, listen, you guys are about to have jobs, you're going to have income, and you need to start planning now because what you do now determines everything in the future. And I want you guys to really be thinking long-term with your investing goals, and I'm going to show you the power of compound interest. So let me go ahead and share my screen and go to one of my favorite websites, investor.gov. Did you think that that's where I was going to go? And let's use my example real quick. I started out actually with $2,000. I think I was 19 years old whenever I started. I had a job, and I was like, I need to retire, so I need to start early. And I decided to do a monthly contribution. I think I did more than $200 because I could afford it, but let's just use this example from what the guy at Edward Jones was talking about. $200 monthly contribution, length of time, we're going to do 40 years. Guys, there's a reason I'm doing 40 years. I know you can't even think 5 years out, but let's just do 40 years just to show you what magic looks like. Estimated interest rate, we're going to say 10%. The reason for that is because the stock market in general returns 10%. That's the good years, that's the bad years. That's what you can expect over the long run. Compound frequency, we're going to say annually. This little red button that says calculate, that is the magic button. The results are in, guys. In 40 years, you'll have just over $1.1 million. Oh my God. And this is what's really cool is you can actually hover over all of these year points, and you can see exactly what your future value is versus your total contributions. So if you're just sitting on cash and you're not investing it, that's going to be this lower number here, as opposed to what your growth of your portfolio would be if you were compounding at the market average of 10%. These lines don't really do anything crazy until about year 20. That's where time really starts to show the effectiveness of compounding your wealth. And let's go ahead and look at a table real quick so you can see year after year just how things grow. So year 0, we're at 2,000. Year 10, we're at 43,000 future value. It's right here. Total contributions up to this point are $26,000. Okay. Let's get to year 20. We're at $150,000. And your initial investment is $50,000. So you've tripled your money. It's 20 years. My goodness, Luke, it's a long time. 30 years, you're almost at 430,000. And then you reach over $1 million at year 40. So $1.1 million. But here is the cool thing is you've only contributed $98,000, okay, over 40 years. Okay. That is what we call mega juice, folks. That's if you start at that time. Let's just say that you start later in life. Let's do an initial investment of $10,000. Okay. And that's the cool thing. You can kind of change these parameters, play with it. figure out what your goals are. And let's say your monthly contribution is going to be $200 in this example. And then we're going to change our length of time to 30 years. Okay, let's say you got a job a little later in life. You don't worry about investing. You're a little behind. Estimated interest rates 10%. Let's go ahead and calculate. And where are we? Just over $500,000. Okay. If anything, this proves that time in the market is really the most important aspect of compounding. And, and let's do one other example just to show you. Let's keep it at $10,000. Let's go ahead and bump your monthly contribution to $500. Okay. And instead of 30 years, let's say you got to do some catch up. We're going to do 25 years. That's what you got. Start with $10,000, $500 monthly contribution. Calculate just over $700,000. So it's really difficult to hit that $1 million number based on these parameters. And so I think you guys should now understand that time is on your side. And so with this, because it's very basic, I want to leave you with 4 compounding truths that I've learned that they've worked historically. They're probably going to work in the future, but you should start early. That's number 1, is get going. Like if you're trying to retire, if you're trying to make some wise choices, start as early as you can, because starting today is better than starting tomorrow, just based on time. Then number 2, time equals wealth, right? The longer you are invested, typically the more money, the more asset growth you can expect. Okay. Number 3 is long-term, you're going to win. This isn't a short-term game, right? Whenever you plan for retirement, when you plan to grow your wealth, it's not something that happens overnight. This is a process. Stay focused, get a plan. And then lastly, number 4, very easy to remember, is keep it simple. So I've showed you how you can start with a small amount of money. And as long as you're just consistent, you're not doing anything too crazy. You're just putting money into the market every single month, $200 over a certain period of time, over decades, you can turn that into $1 million. So I hope this lesson was beneficial to some of the younger viewers out there. Remember, trying to make you a better investor. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. And until next time, always think long-term, because that is how you win the game of investing. Till next time.